Spin strats against Ganon, absolutely 100% necessary. Oh, and looks like Furaime is starting. From the Sanctuary, we've got an early Firewall. That is very nice to get, although we don't get a magic top-up with it because this is Expert. And 5 rupees in Link's house. And Furaime is giving us a bit of error sounds to go for music. I almost don't want to talk over it. But yes, other things in Expert, there's only 1 full heart container to be found in the whole seed, and 20 heart pieces, so the maximum amount of life our runners can have today is 9 hearts. Looks like VM's trying to go for the triple here, but getting bullied quite a bit by the Moldom here, but they get their bomb pulls from it. And DT is going for the front of escape first, namely the uncle. And that is a Moon Pearl from the uncle. VM going for the Lumberjack check, just a piece of heart. One of the only 20 pieces of heart in the game, but I doubt they'll be killing Aga just for that 1 piece. So DT has saved and quitted back to Sanctuary again, and is on their way to the west. We'll see if they decide to go make the Lumberjack check as well, or if they decide to save some time and just go straight to Kakariko. 20 rupees at the mushroom spot in the Lost Woods. And some flippers in the bottom of the Thieves' hideout, so we've got quite a lot of early progress so far. Mostly mid-game progress, so it doesn't really help us right now in the early game, so... But Furaime stocks up on some more bombs from that tree pool. And here we've got a guard who's hanging out a bit early in the Lost Woods. This is Randomizer, so as well as open mode, so all the enemies everywhere in the world are chaotically shuffled around. So we can end up with fish flopping around inside the Lost Woods. We can end up with absolute chaos inside the chicken hut here in Kakariko. But for now, we're just going to descend into Blind's old hideout, which is fairly peaceful. We sometimes get a couple of explosions back here, but mostly nothing too harmful. And we've got 20 rupees, 5 rupees, piece of heart, and 100 rupees. Okay, so that sorts out our bot fender and some more bombs if necessary. Ooh, and power gloves in the back of the hideout. So runners, if they can so choose, they would be able to get up to Death Mountain right now. They would have to get through the cave in the dark, and because this is Randomizer, you might end up with some very nasty Lynels down there in the dark, which would really promptly kill you, and you wouldn't be able to even see what they're doing to you. Unexplained deaths are the worst kind of deaths in Randomizer. Anyway, in the bottom of the world, we just have more cash so far. Even more cash. Yeah, just a whole lot of cash down here. And just because we haven't already had enough big 20s, the board offender gives us a partial refund. I suppose paying 100 rupees to get 20 back from the board offender is worse than paying 500 to King Zora and getting another big 20 from him, but you know, that can still happen. King Zora is in Logic right now for his power glove, so yeah. Logic doesn't care how much cash you have for the king, it just cares, can you get to him or not? And considering that chicken hut, there's just a Beamer statue in there which doesn't really move anywhere, and a random mimic, so that's one of the friendlier chicken huts in Randomizer races recently. The sick kid has even more cash for us. This is a very cash-friendly Kakariko so far. And another 5 rupees in the back of a bar, because why not? Furaime is grabbing a fish, but they're getting bullied by the blue guard there. think they're going to be bringing that to the bottle vendor and seeing what the bottle vendor decides to give up. Oh, a full magic refill. That comes in particularly useful with that fire rod there for early game offense. No swords yet, and as this is expert, we're only going to be finding 2 swords maximum. There will be another 2 swords to find, but once they've got that master sword, those other 2 swords will just be turning into green 20s. Just some arrows on the library shelf, so we're not going to be needing boots for either of those checks. Namely that and the lumberjack. It looks like DT is also going for the fish play there. And the Furaime is going for the race game straight away. Just gambling what's going to be there. And it's a cane of burner. So that cane of burner, it doesn't really come in much use in expert mode. It doesn't give you any invincibility at all. It just causes you to damage enemies around you, which might be handy if you want to walk into blinds if we don't have any other means of killing blind. Furaime takes a random death after lifting up a bush. I have no idea what killed him there. Did chat cancel what killed Furaime there? Because I literally have no idea. Just lift up bush, dead. Hope that doesn't happen to anybody in real life. It'd be awfully inconvenient. So yeah, they are making another attempt at going into the back of escape here to check out the 3 items here. Ooh, and that Moldom causes Furaime to drop the bomb. So the map and the small key were there, and just a piece of heart. So we're going to be making another trip into escape sometime.
So this looks like a pretty productive Kakariko so far. Gloves, flippers. That's a pretty decent amount of direction to start with. Fire rods a real good find. This looks like a good opening.
Furaime's going back into the hole, attempting a hula hand play here, using the bomb to displace a sprite, make the game think they're falling into somewhere else, and because the game doesn't know where Furaime's falling into, it puts them into the hula hand room instead. So this is also a good way to put Furaime back at Link's house when they exit this cave, and then make their self-light world checks.
It's a very slick route for sure.
And with Kingsaw and Logic, they may be choosing to, well, hoping to find some cash down here in the south of Hyrule and make a fake flipper into the whirlpool, go up to Kingsaw, and then pay him off for whatever he has. But in the front of the dam there for DT was a bow, particularly nice. So in the mini Moldom cave, we just have 4 completely meaningless enemies. They're pretty easy to kill, and they move extremely slowly, so easy to finish off with the bow. But it can still proving a bit elusive for DT. So from the Moldom cave so far, we have a bottle, a cape, and even more cash, because why not? Now, none of this cash is pointing logically towards Zora. Zora is just illogical since you find gloves or flippers, but nobody really wants to be like farming up cash from for example, the cave just east of desert. That's a book.
Or potentially the caves right by Ice Rock can get you 20 clear rupees, but DT sitting 200 short is not thinking about any of that at this point. B strat here for Furaime in this room. I'm gonna make pretty quick work of the Popos using that. DT sitting at the hobo gonna get 20 more rupees.
Just don't want to be taking any damage from that bee, because I think it's going to be start getting its damage things in very shortly. But Furaime escapes. And Hinox is just throwing bombs into the water just to make the fish jump out.
Yeah, fake flippering with this setup would be impossible. Hinox and big spikes, and there's that little mini helmet is about to snipe DT coming out of the exit, the entrance to Ice Rock Cave. That's gonna hurt. So we're gonna see what DT unfortunately missed here.
He's going back to Lake Hylia. Now, Avanas do have the flippers, so fake flippers aren't necessary today. We can just swim normally. And there was a book up there, which I did see on Furaime's side just now. DT is going back to, yep, they're going back to the Icewood Cave, but that spike in the water causing a couple issues. So Furaime swimming up to the hobo, whilst DT has to be really careful of this explosion spitting enemy from the Dark World here.
Yeah, it looks like it got out of his way just long enough for him to get the bombs out of Ice Rock Cave.
Another big 20 from the hobo, probably his life savings, and oh, DT is going to farm up some cash from this cave. Now, Furaime chose to make that Houlihan play coming out of Sanctuary, and DT has not done the same, so this is a bit of an inefficient cash farm for them compared to Furaime right now. There's also the, like I mentioned earlier, the cave east of the desert where they can get 50 rupees if they go in and out. And they can reach out with 3 power gloves. And also his swords there in the waterfall cave. So that is particularly nice to find before diving into any dungeons. Oh, and that was a red potion refill from the fairy there. Now, I believe in Expert, those, well, in hard mode, those red potions fill up an extremely limited amount of life rather than all your life. And I think in Expert, they only fill 1 heart. Is that correct?
That's correct. The limitations are even greater in Expert. You only get a quarter of your magic refilled for greens, 1 heart for reds, and obviously the combo of those things for blues. So use very, very wisely. Furaime going to give us our good look at Zora here for 500 rupees. The king gives us 20 rupees back. DT will not be happy with this.
A lot of early game progress so far, but also a lot of big 20s. I think ooh, yeah. Not enough room with that spike given the swim speed there to actually get past it successfully, but DT was getting bullied by a Helmasaur there on the land, so it was a case of pick your poison.
This actually isn't that bad for DT though, because he beat he got to the hobo already, so he can take this if he wants to. He can take this bridge up and go by the witch and take the conventional route to Waterfall Zora. But it looks like he's gonna. Let's see. It looks like he's gonna try the warp anyway to see if he can make it all the way through.
Now from there, Furaime's also going to be doing the rest of a front of escape, and I doubt they'll be doing the back because those sewer areas in the dark with Randomizer and no lamp, it's more or less suicide. As you see, there's some Hinoxes in the front, so there could be Hinoxes in the back too. There could be Hinoxes everywhere.
Hinoxes, Lionels, Spike Rollers, Spikes themselves. You name it, and the back of Escape could hide it from you. And it's definitely better to go in with a lamp to any of these dark rooms.
I think the only exception to a dark room being harder in Randomizer would be is actually the Samaya room in the latter parts of Turtle Rock, because most of the enemies that can get shuffled in there, they just kind of end up stuck on the rocks and not doing anything. And the usual fire bars that are there are no longer hindering you.
True,
Ooh, there's some...
very true. Even there, sometimes you can get like spike rollers instead of fire bars, and then it's like, why did I do this to myself?
Getting some in the basement of the castle escape. We've got some rather friendly enemies so far. One of those guys was replaced by a rat, and DT's actually going up to eastern area first. He did get a moon pearl from the uncle earlier, so if there's no other items down here for Furaime, he is saving himself some time. Ooh, that's a mirror.
Mirror is really, really nice. Although it doesn't unlock anything immediately. I think really we're only a lamp away from Aghanim to get to Dark World. Other than it, I think the next progression step is going to be lamp or hammer, or maybe the other glove.
Pretty much. And we saw that was a vanilla green pendant at Eastern Palace, a regular crystal at Tower of Hera, and a 5/6 crystal at Desert Palace. So yeah, I was going to say that if they had the lamp, that mirror would be extremely convenient for checking out the dark area of escape. But no lamp, far too dangerous. So Furaime's going to leave that behind for now. Big key in the first chest of Eastern. And there are two dark rooms that we could be making our way through here in Eastern, with DTC down to 1 heart, and we don't know what we're going to find in there. It could be nice and peaceful, it could be extremely lethal. We don't know yet. Those are normally considered some of the easiest dark rooms in Randomizer. This time, not so much. And if they so chose to go to the Armos area, which they can do right now, they wouldn't even need a bow for it. Oh, that's a... Luckily, we don't need to kill the enemies in this room, because that turtle is really inconvenient. But yeah, they could proceed to Armos right now, even without having the bow, because there's going to be no Igors in the room where you would normally need the bow to kill them. Just going to get different enemies instead. And the Armos themselves could be any kind of boss, so we could get to the back there, but at Dark Room to the north of the big chest, yeah, that's a nasty one. There's a lot of enemies in there. And the enemy itself that you may need to kill for the small key could be something like a turtle, which you would need a hammer for, or just something extremely deadly like a Lionel, and you won't even be able to see what it is.
Yeah, Eastern's one of the dungeons that Randomizer really has an effect on, due to most of the rooms having 6 to 8 enemies, which you don't really think about because they're just those little little squiggly things or stalfos. Or just, you don't think about the volume until the volume gets shuffled around, and then you see what the real problems come through. And DT is gonna try this, at least the first room, to get to the big key chest.
Yeah, he's not taking many risks here. He just got out that firewall and just wants to snipe whatever may be in his way. But something got in his way anyway, and he takes a death.
Well, that would have been out of logic anyway, whatever he he's to go back in. Interesting. So we know that in Logic Eastern doesn't have anything useful. Are we down to Hagina?
We cannot get up to Death Mountain. No lamp. So there's a Gina. Can't get to the book yet, so can't get into Desert Palace. I believe that's it. Can't get through Aga 1 yet either. No lamp. Interesting. So yeah, I think that pretty much puts Agina's guarantees of having a progress item at this point. Is it going to be lamp or is it going to be something much nicer like the hammer? Ooh, Furaime tries to get through the dark room as well and also takes a death. We could see a bit of divergence here. They could try to... Yep, they're going for the save and crit, and they're just going to go straight to Agina. DT is committed to this, though. Now, he did manage to pick up that key from the East Room, so... Oh, nope, takes another death.
Whatever it is, whatever's in there took all 3 hearts in one hit. So once DT sees and recognizes that, he should see that it's time to go and try something else.
Now, DT hasn't done the rest of his escape yet, so and that's a much more item-rich area than Agina, so they're going to get the mirror from this, and then they're going to be resolved with checking out Agina.
Question in chat, does cape work? The cape technically does work. It still provides invincibility, but on expert, it drains your magic at triple the speed of normal difficulty.
Alright, Agina, what are you stocking for us today? It's a hammer!
And off to the dark world we go. Easy as that.
So Furaime is straight up going over to Hype Cave. And we're getting a Dark World map check here too. Pendants at Thieves Town and Ice Palace, and I think that was the red crystal at Misery Mire. So aside from that, Spike Roller, the area outside Hype Cave is a bit friendlier than normal. So we've got 5 rupees, 10 arrows, 50 rupees, piece of heart, and 50 rupees. Yeah, I'd consider that a 1 out of 10 cave. A piece of heart is nice to get, I guess.
Piece of heart's okay. 100 rupees, I mean, 100 rupees are 100 rupees, they're good to have. But yeah, we'll call that a bust. Looks like Furaime is going to get their book, and let's probably make their way to Pyramid Catfish if they continue along this direction.
That is an extremely inconvenient spike. It looks like they are going up to Pyramid. They could also make a quick detour into Paths of Darkness. Some annoying thief gets in the way, and fun thing about Randomizer, because he can find thieves anywhere, the devs have very kindly decided, yep, let's actually make the thieves vulnerable to damage and allow runners to kill the thieves. Hey, what's that sword doing in the middle of the land?
Well, that's a convenient place for a mimic. There's one less enemy to worry about for Furaime up here at Pyramid. Just 20 rupees waits from there, though. Let's see whether he goes across the pod or up to Catfish.
Is that surprise Zora again bursting out of the ground? That's more like a Monty Mole from Super Mario.
And there's one of those water striders from Swamp floating around up in the hills.
Yeah, we've got land Zoras so far and land Tektites. Like I did Sharks and Link to the Past.
This is going to be really. This is the way Furaime's approaching this is really smart so far. Getting in the water to get around the big spike, mirroring to the witch to get the health refill off the assistant is just really great in the moment thinking on his part, and it's going to let him keep going.
DT's going, they're actually going to the Village of Outcasts first. Interesting. Oh, not that, they're taking a saving crit. DT has decided that Hype Cave is far more appealing to him in his immediate future.
By the numbers, he's not wrong. We just know that he's wrong.
Piece of art from Catfish, but I think that was actually Furaime's first hard container gained, which is a big deal in an expert.
Yep, one down, five to go.
So Furaime is going to the west. Wait, where are they going? Oh, they're going up Death Mountain.
If he can get past if he can get the old man saved, Mirror and Hammer gets you to Hera on the east side. So, I mean, if you can pull it off, this is a big play.
There was a glow-in-the-dark red guard there, but nothing too dangerous so far, it looks like.
It's a crowded little hallway. There's something.
I think that's a Lionel down
shooting
there.
Spears, or
Given the rate of those fireballs, that was definitely a Lionel, and Furaime makes use of that cape to get past it, but it drains all of their magic in the blink of an eye.
I don't think the old man respected just what we just had to drag him through, which is why he only gave us 5 rupees. Question in chat. Max hit points is 9 hearts. There's 1 full heart and 20 pieces in the pool.
DT is making their way back to the West Dark World again. This is the in-logic check for him. What Furaime's doing right now is out of logic unless we find the lamp over here in Village of Outcasts or Thieves Town or Skullwoods.
Journal entry.
Furaime goes for a bomb jump across the pit there, but I think they dropped their bomb a bit early, picked it up to try and get into place, and then bombed themselves into the pit, so they just went for the saving crit. You know, DT's going to be checking out Skull Woods first, and there's a lot of spikes, a lot of rollers, and 1 anti-fairy. 2 anti-fairies. Actually, no, they're making their way out of Skull, the Dark Lost Woods. They're going to be checking out the Cape Cave first, the bumper ledge.
Was the first hint in Eastern about Graveyard Ledge? I think there was cash there.
Yeah, some cash is above the pose. And Bumper Cave had nothing of use either.
So that's actually really smart for DT. He gets essentially the North Dark World checked out of the way very, very fast.
Yeah, no boots first, so we do have the King's Tomb left to check sometime in the future. And he's going straight to Skullwoods first. 2 items to be found in here. And a load of mixed up enemies, because why not? That's a mushroom as our first item. Oh, hello, the boots
The
is in
boots
Palace of
in.
Darkness.
Very large information for Furaime there.
Yeah, the play to just go straight into Palace of Darkness to pick up those boots so he can get through the rest of the seed faster is quite appealing.
That being said, half of the chest and pod are lamp locked. You know, it could be Helmasaur, or it could be Helmasaur's room. You know, it could be the Dark Maze. I mean, it's not a given that you're just going to walk in and find them. So
DT going for the bomb chop there, but one of those black lizards from Ice Palace knocks him into the pit, and he takes a death, which is a bit of a setback for him because it's going to send him right back to the fall down pit here, and he has to make his way around again. Now, Furaime is going to go to the top of Tower of Hera here, and because Moldorm's room is a bigger boss room than normal, there's only a limited set of bosses that we can fight there. We could find a Helmasaur King at the top, but we cannot find a Trinex at the top, so in case of surprise Trinex, we're not going to be needing the Ice Sword for this particular boss at least. One of the worst things you can get up here would be a Vitreous, and
Vitreous would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Here.
Now, as I mentioned previously, Furaime has already done 2 expert Randomizer races right before this against Solsky, and they have already fought a Vitreous up top here in Tower of Hera, so they've got some experience going into this. Ooh, Master Sword. So Furaime gets that Master Sword from Tower of Hera, and yeah, that makes a Vitreous a bit more of a, well, less of a problem if we find one up the top here. DT's going to the back of Skullwoods. I don't think they pick up that book yet from Lake Hylia, so they can't make the pestle check right now.
No, he did. That was the first thing after Hyde Cave.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, that way I think that book is what drove the decision to come here to Skullwoods. Mothula atop Hera is going to be pretty easy pickings, and that's going to be Furaime's first of 12 dungeons.
Mothula is really just a big overgrown butterfly when he's outside of his particular boss room, and I don't think he was even shooting his regular fireballs there. So, Master Sword and First Crystal, this was a pretty worthy sequence break for Furaime, and they are going to be able to check out Paradox Cave too with that hammer. It looks like DT took a death there trying to get to the back of Skullwoods because that spike is right in the way.
I think one of those fireballers, one of those spinning fireballers, got him before he got all the way through the doorway.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what you call those guards, but that one turned into a very glitchy mess when he fell down into the pit.
That one soul didn't exactly feel like leaving when the body did, I guess.
Okay, so Morpheus' room is a bit different compared to Moldorp's room because he can fight pretty much any boss in there, and this time it was a cold stare. DT does not have enough magic for that cold stare because using the fire rod on his torches to light the way to that cold stare drains him of magic to actually beat the cold stare with. So we're going to be wanting to find Bobos or getting a few green potions for that.
So Furaime finds the hook shot atop Spiral Cave. Looks like 25 rupees so far here in Paradox. I don't know if DT really wants to try. No, yeah, he's not going to worry about this anymore. Although he didn't check the pedestal either. So maybe Skullwoods is put him on tilt a little bit. Flute for Furaime.
He's trying to get back into the fun part of Skullwoods, but he took a death to that spike roller there, which has sent him back to the light world and Sanctuary.
Oh, he took a death outside. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. Okay. I am still surprised he didn't find a way to get a pet check in, but that's just how it goes. He didn't get the big chest to check in either, so.
He tried to do a bomb jump to get across when he was first there, and then decided to leave it until later. So, a couple of checks left behind. This could cost him. He's going for the Death Mountain sequence break again, like Furaime. So if they're able to get past this Lionel in the cave, it's going to work out for him. Ooh, no, but he walks straight into the Lionel and takes a death. So if Furaime's already activating that flute, get your 07s in chat for the Scourge of Hyrule, the Flying Seagull. It may take you around Hyrule a bit. It'll also poop on all the statues and steal your sandwich.
DT's now out of magic.
Oh no, yeah, I saw he had that cape out there, but drained just a little too fast. Furaime thought about going into the West Dark World there, but then immediately flew to end. They're going to go straight into Palace of Darkness to try and pick up those boots.
Oh wait, DT's actually stuck in this cave because if you save with the old man in tow, you're gonna have to save him.
He manages to just grease his way past, but he's down to 1 heart. And I've got to play carefully at the front of Death Mountain. Oh no!
No! Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Hey, people! Hey, we're back from the abyss. Discord finally was able to save the old man. It's obviously very unfortunate that DT could not, as that's essentially what's gonna decide this race at this point. Anyway, hi everybody, welcome back to Furaime versus In the Name of DT. Now it's Furaime versus the All Dungeons Open Expert Randomizer seed that he has asked both of them to run. Yo, Titans mitts. Now we're really making progress. Framework into the C-shaped house for 20 rupees. Still only on 4 hearts. Probably on like 5 or 6 heart pieces. And gonna make their way into Thieves Town. 4 items here. One of the Randomizer tricks you can do in Thieves Town is go straight to the boss once you find the big key in the first 4 chests. Which is good for information purposes. You don't need to save the main. You don't need to bomb the floor overhead. So we'll see if Furaime opts to do that, or jump into the arms of a mini Homa. Nice work working his way back downstairs to avoid the anti-fairy. You're going to find the map here in the 3rd chest. And the big key in the 4th. Hi everybody, I'm Sports Hefe. I'm kind of, I guess, the one here. Because Ocelot's Discord is still being bad. So one item, I think, on the front side. We got a map and both keys so far. Question chat, what if they both forfeit? We run the game 1 again. New seed. But Furaime is about as good as it gets at these sorts of challenges. That's why his game 1 with Solsky was this. His game 1 with DT is this. It's what he's comfortable with, and making that Moldorm look easy peasy. And getting a compass and dungeon number 4. And he's not interested in the bottom of Thieves Town. Very interesting. We got the map and compass, so there's still 3 items down there to collect, but he's got better things to do. $18, $19 digs for a heart piece. Honestly, those things are as good as gold in expert. There are 20 of them available, but there's only 1 full heart, so it's just every little ounce of help you can get, you should, if you can, in these just maddening settings. So blacksmith and tow, we're gonna go ahead and do the hammer pegs. Let's see, we don't have the cane, so we can't do fake powder. We don't have powder either, so we can't do real powder. So that's gonna be isolated, but other than that, smith and purple chest will be our next stop here. We're gonna pick up the bug net. Bug net's actually pretty useless, because you can't catch fairies in any difficulty above hard, and that includes this. Yeah, Titans, Mitts, and Bombos were in the Village of Outcasts, and there's our third bee in a bottle for Furaime.
I think in experts, the bottles are always guaranteed to be bees, right? Am I correct? Also, I'm back. Hi.
Hey, welcome back to the party. Holy cow. The seed broke everything.
Yeah, we apparently applied.
Furaime, I guess.
We applied Randomizer to Discord, and Discord reacted in a pretty predictable way.
So obviously you saw what happened to DT earlier. The old man got the better of him. Let's see. Furaime took 1 try at the Cold Stare in Skull Woods for no good. Although he was able to do some decent damage, but it just, you can only take 1 hit in the fight because the puffs take 4 damage. So. Purple chest gonna have 5 more rupees.
Yeah, with all those huts removed from expert mode, we end up with quite a lot of rupees scattered around instead. Gonna be checking the Bombers tablet here. Now, I haven't been able to catch all of what Furaime's cleared, given that I've been fighting with Discord for the last 20 minutes, but it looks like they already did Desert Palace.
Yes, we got an Armos at Desert Palace, so that he made quick work of that with a quick kill. Let's see, Thieves Town is down. He took 1 crack at Skull Woods, I told you earlier. Other than that, let's see, Lamp was on the Desert Torch. I think that was like the first thing that happened after Discord crashed.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was kind of talking about DT in the Dark Cave where they have taken their forfeits, but I don't think it came through to anybody. But Furaime made the sequence breaker up Death Mountain quite a bit earlier, and they were able to get through using a full meat of magic and the cave to get past the Lionel that was sitting in the last part of the cave, and they had pretty good luck with the Brussels sprouts, so they were able to return the old man to the cave. DT's problem was they didn't have a full bar of magic going in there, so they tried to get past the Lionel with the cape and ran out of magic and took a death. Then they tried just brute forcing their way through several times, but took a few more deaths to the Lionel and the Brussels sprouts on the mountain, and eventually decided it was too much for them. So yeah, DT has taken the forfeit for that reason, because he cannot get through that cave, so he's essentially softlocked there.
Right, it's a vanilla behavior where the same thing happens with Zelda and her cell, where once you pick them up, the game is going to put you at a point where you have to finish the job that they put you on. So you have to save Zelda, or you have to save the old man in order to continue in the game. So, and DT could not do it, and that's the story of the seed.
Like we mentioned at the start, Furaime has done quite a lot of expert Randomizer races already, namely 2 versus Solski, both of which they won. So I think Furaime's kind of got a winning strategy here. Pick expert, pick Randomizer, and win the race just like that. They've shown a particularly adept skill at this. So Furaime's not checking out the left side for now. Have you had a hint about that yet?
Nothing I've seen so far.
Okay, so it's probably going to be the next hint we discover right after he leaves on Palace, because that's always the nature of hints in version 30 of Randomizer. I think I've seen that at least twice now, that the hint to what's in the Firelock side in Maya has been on the tablet in the Firelock side of Maya.
That's always brilliant. Or it's because everybody routes ice after swamp. The first hint in ice is the swamp left side hint.
Furaime grabs that big key from the flooded chest, and they don't go up to go check the big chest. Normally, if you go up the stairs, what will happen is you encounter a weird bug and you end up being forced down the stairs again, and you have to go up once more to actually get there. But if they decide to go in to check the left side, they can just route that in without dealing with any stairs bugs.
Have we gotten any dungeon items yet, other than the big key?
I don't think so, no. Oh, we've got another Morphula down here. This one's a little more aggressive than the one at the top of Tower of Hair. He's actually shooting fireballs, but he's really just a giant peaceful butterfly outside this room. No spikes, no conveyor belts. Very easy to take down.
Yeah, if there's anything you learn when watching or playing Randomizer, it's that Mothula is not the boss of his room. The room is the boss of his room.
Yeah, and coincidentally, many of the other bosses that he can get in Mothula's room are particularly troublesome. As we saw, there was a cold stair down there. With some bosses he gets in there, I think the spikes do actually move, not just the conveyor belts. I think one time I saw a blind down there, and it wasn't just that the blind was sitting in the spikes at the bottom of the room and being unhittable. The spikes themselves were moving around.
Yeah, that was actually the fight that did Solski in game 2. I remember watching Solski's second race with Furaime, and it was 2 deaths that he had to 2 different blinds. One in the bottom of Ice Palace, so you can imagine the time lost there. He got really bad luck by getting hit by something on the fall that took him from like 5.5 hearts to 2.5, and just couldn't couldn't do the fight after that. And then Blind ended up being in Skull Woods in that same race, and he took a couple deaths there, and he eventually forfeited game 2. That's how Furaime got here.
So I imagine given what has happened today, unlike Solski, DT is just going to go for anything but expert Randomizer. It's what I would do. Furaime seems to be very much an expert at this.
He is dangerous to this stuff. He's using so many little tricks, little workarounds, and little bits of game knowledge. He's very, very practiced in this, and he's the 4 seed in the tournament. So he's going to have a lot of matchups where he gets to put this on his opponent first, and probably put almost all of them in a 1-0 hole.
A question in chat: how is the last race going to be picked? Essentially, that comes down to if Furaime manages to win 2 games in a row, or if DT manages to win the next game. How the bracket stages work, at least in the top 32 and the top 16, is that the runners have a best of 3. The higher seeded runner, in this case Furaime, picks the variations for the first race. The low seeded runner picks the ones for the second race. And for the third game, the bots will pick the variations, with the runners allowed to veto 1 thing each. But that does come down to if DT manages to win the next race.
And the bot's not merciful. DT's bot pick against AK was, I remember it was at least expert. I think it was expert retro, all dungeons. It was weird. Yeah, I think it was like expert retro, all dungeons. It was a wild seed to watch. That he eventually prevailed over AK in. So, the bot could roll out a normal seed, or he can do that. So it's anybody's guess. Question in chat: you cannot veto randomizer. We are not running NMG. Thank you very much.
Somebody else also asking to veto Link to the Past, but we are in the wrong tournament for that. You'd have to go over to Super Metroid and Zelda 3 Combo Randomizer tournament for that. But I still don't think you can veto 1 whole game in there.
Combo randomizer where you take out the Morphball. You cannot save. You can save and quit from the cave, but if you have the old man in tow, it puts you back at the start of the cave.
If your aim's diving into Eastern Palisade, they did clear it out a bit earlier, like DT, but they didn't go all the way to the back. They've got that lamp now, so we're going to be seeing just what could be causing issues in the back here.
Yeah, something was taking all of their hearts when they were first here, like all 3 at once. So that could have been a Lionel. That could have been. Do big spikes take that much?
I think Big Spikes does do 2 hearts, or maybe does even 1 heart if you're on green mail. Instead, Furaime has managed to scrounge up 6 heart containers here, so... Oh, right, yeah, it's one of those floating green skulls. They are particularly deadly. I think they do 2 hearts of damage each. They move pretty slowly, but they are totally silent. They don't sit around running around spitting fireballs like a lion would to announce its presence. So you run into one, you won't be seeing what you're dying to, you're just going to die and be perplexed. Alright, what nasty combo do we have in the back here? A lot of Moldorms, a few firebars, one of those green skulls, but I think that was the Moldorm that dropped the key. So
birds apparently.
yeah, and fun thing about Randomizer is that it moves on for normal logical checks for Eastern Palace. The Igors in here won't ever be Igors anymore. They're just going to be anything that is not an Igor. So you can always clear Eastern Palace without the bow now.
Look at these mini helmets getting all in Furaime's business here. Can he get the both of the bomb? Yes, he can. Well done. So we're just gonna hook shot the heart, get a few more supplies, and make our way into the boss and find another Mothula.
Well, having Mothulus all over the seed is much more preferable to compared to having cold stairs all over the seed. That's what happened in my in the last race I commentated. Cold stairs everywhere.
Oh, those are so bad for your magic use.
And speaking of magic use, neither Furaime or DT were able to beat the cold stair at the bottom of, as it is lurking at the bottom of Skullwoods, because he spent a bit of magic to get into the back of Skullwoods, and that bit of magic then renders you unable to break the ice on cold stair afterwards. So you'd need maybe a green potion or two, because green potions restore less magic in expert, or use the bomber's medallion, which Furaime has picked up.
Well, Furaime was able to use the sword beam trick on the shell to get to the phase of the fight where you could damage the puffs. He was just too vulnerable. Essentially, you could only take one hit from a puff with the 4 hearts he had at the time. So he did make a good shot though, and he'll be back soon enough to get his revenge. Welcome to Ice Palace.
I have seen that once before. I think it's like if you time a fire rod shot at the same time as a sword beam, it lags like 2 hits from the fire rod. Is that correct?
Yeah, the fire rod has like a kind of splash damage, which you can see when you fire it at cold stare too. Like if you or at the puffs in general, if they're close enough together, it'll like bounce from puff to puff and do damage to multiple puffs at the same time. So it's just kind of an exploitation of that. Question in chat: don't the puffs kind of kill themselves? No, because in order for the spikes to actually do damage to them, you have to be the one that drives them into the spikes. Kind of like the Gibdos. The Gibdos can just run around and do whatever they want. They won't take damage. You have to drive them into the spike in order for that to work.
Furaime is fighting off against a very aggressive room full of guards here, and he just got out that bomber's medallion to save themselves the hassle. A piece of heart held by someone friendly. And it's not too bad a hint, because the pieces of heart are pretty valuable in expert, simply because that's all you're going to find, except for one whole heart container somewhere in the world. We are limited to 9 hearts, so anything you can dredge up, considering expert also leaves you on green mail, is going to come in handy. Furaime has plenty of life, so they are going to go for the bomb jump here.
Nice quick setup takes care of that.
And the firebar in that room is turned into an anti-fairy, which puts like the normally with the firebar there, you want to get across at the right timing so that you can dodge past it or use invincibility frames to maneuver your way past it using a hook shot. But don't need to bother that this time. Now here we've got something interesting. Those red beetles can be stunned by bombs. Same for blue beetles. And that is a behavior which I think is unique to them. Now, in the experts, normally you cannot stun enemies with the boomerang or hookshot, but the bombs stunning the beetles is pretty unique, and it's kept in. And that is one annoying beamer statue in the way there.
Yeah, that's very well placed. Hint number 3 in Ice Palace is going to be the mushroom is in Skull Woods. Thanks, game. Took care of that.
And Randomizer in this room always seems to have berries, but they always seem to be really glitchy sprites. Those ones are kind of turning into levers from Desert Palace.
Yeah, that room, one of the first rooms in GT glitches out like that. There's got to be some coding reason that only Zarby would understand, and even then he might not understand it. He might just know it happens. Zarby, the developer of the Randomizer portion of this crazy program, there's the big key for Furaime. And the Cane of Samaria. So we are in really, really good shape to get to the end here. We kind of just need to dodge Trinexes or pray that the Ice Rod shows up somewhere.
And the one nasty thing about Randomizer is that you can end up with a Trinex pretty much anywhere. There are 3 places it cannot be, like the top of Tower of Hera, for example. The top of Tower of Hera is a large boss room, and so it doesn't accommodate particularly large sprites like Trinex. It does fit a Helmasaur King, but not a Trinex. There's also a couple of other bosses that you cannot find at the top of Tower of Hera. For instance, I believe Argus is one, because Argus requires square walls to bounce off of. Ooh, yikes. What is happening on the right side of that room? It looks like the Hinox is taking care of most of those mimics by itself anyway.
Oh, for sure. You know how there are 4 blue baris under... If you lift that block over there, there's 4 blue baris underneath it. So, that's... yeah, that's what the rando switched him to. Took 7 shots, but there's still a 1 cycle. And there's the small key off the boss. And dungeon number 7.
So with that small key off the boss, this means that if you were to go through Ice Palace in the proper intended way, you would be Samaria locked. But not only did we find the Cane of Samaria inside Ice Palace, but we did a bomb jump to circumvent needing that key anyway. It's why the Ice Palace bomb jump is one of the popular tricks to learn if you are going through Ice Palace in Randomizer.
Right, it's the single trick that saves the most time in any run. NMG randomizer. It's that little cross jump to essentially just shatters the puzzle that Ice Palace is supposed to be.
Oh yes, and I think that puzzle was considered so annoying in the original version that when they ported the game to the Game Boy Advance, they actually simplified that quite significantly. I don't remember what exactly that version entails, but I don't think you have to make a full loop around Ice Palace to get through the dungeon anymore.
Time for revenge. 7 hearts now. Full bar magic. And we're going to try this cold stare here. Well, if he can get away... Oh, wow, he did get away from the spike roller. Holy cow. Jeez, the jukes.
So still going to be spending a bit of magic to get into the cold stairs area, but we've got that bombus medallion to remove the ice on him now, so and a lot more hearts and a bit more offensive power, so we should be good. CyberKO in chat, the where you can find bosses essentially depends on what boss room you're in. So in a particularly standard, well, in a standard sized boss room like Morphulus, you can find pretty much any boss down here. In something like the top of Tower Hera or the top of Ganon's Tower, you have a limited set of bosses. So you cannot find Trinexes everywhere, but you can still find say like in Ganon's Tower, you can find a Trinex in the Landmol's 2 room. You can also find one in the Ice Armor's room, which is pretty much the worst boss you can find in there. But you cannot actually have a Trinex at Moldorm 2.
Furaime just had a harder time menuing to the mirror than he did within the fight. That's hilarious.
It took that cold stare down faster than my explanation.
Question in chat, you can have cold stare in Moldorm rooms. It's actually pretty hilarious in Moldorm 2, where because you can get a cold stare up there, if you get one, he's stuck in the shell. And if you know how to hover, all you gotta do is hover across and he'll never bother you.
So it looks like both of our medallions were ether today, but that bomber's medallion still comes in use for any cold stairs we may find. Furaime gets around those red beetles in very nice way. And this room looks to be mostly vanilla.
Yeah, Wizrobes replaced by pickets for the most part, but yeah, that is a lot simpler than the first one was.
So judging from Furaime's items right now, they are in Schrodinger's Go mode. We don't know if there's going to be any Trinexes around that we're going to need the Ice Rod for. If there's a Trinex, we are going to have to hunt down that Ice Rod. So I imagine Furaime's not going to be... If they find a big key in this next chest, I imagine they're still going to be checking out the rest of Maya, just in case. Nobody likes Trinex surprise.
Good call. Excuse me. That's going to be a God Mire if Furaime decides to take it. He's already got one item. He got the shield out of the spike chest. So, yep, we're going to go straight down to Vitreous, or well, to Vitreous's room and see who's paying the rent this month.
All right then. It could be a Trinex in that room, so might be ducking out of here pretty quickly if it is. And back in that spike room with the small key, there was a unique interaction there with the Cane of Burner. On Hard and Expert, the Cane of Burner does not give you invincibility except for rooms where it's logically required. So in that room, the Cane of Burner will actually help you get across the spikes. It also works in the most other notable location, being the Spike Cave on Death Mountain.
Right, Spike Cave on Death Mountain, Laser Bridge, and the Spike Room in Mire, as we've seen. And the Spike Room in Ice, that U room where you got a hookshot across to continue upstairs.
Hang on, we've got something going on here. It's getting a bit spooky. This is the wrong time of year to be spooky. This is Christmas, not Halloween. Yeah, that is the fairly new and not commonly seen spooky action glitch. I've seen multiple explanations for how it works. I forget it every single time. It's a very complex trick. Okay, so we've got blind in the back of my here.
Blind with sword beams is actually kind of simple. I mean, especially since in this room you can't actually walk to the top, so it's just a matter of playing a little two-hoo here, dodging the fireballs. Well, now he doesn't have sword beams anymore. Let's see how he approaches this. Oh, he's gonna let him blast into the Samari to block himself. Why are you hitting yourself, Blind? Why are you hitting yourself? Seriously, you gonna make it this easy for the guy? That's dungeon number 9 now for Furaime.
Yeah, so we've got Turtle Rock left, and there could be a Trinex in Turtle Rock, depending on where Big Key is in Ganon's Tower. There could also be one or two other places where Trinex could be. Furame's not actually diving back into Maya to get the rest of the items, so they are treating themselves like they are in go mode right now, making that gamble for no Trinexes. The last dungeon for Furaime is going to be Turtle Rock, and Turtle Rock go mode is not really that much faster than normal Turtle Rock, so still going to be checking most of the chests in there to get the keys, and I imagine Furaime's probably going to be checking the items that don't take too much time to check along the way, such as the Big Key chest or Mimic Cave, just to try and find that Ice Forge just in case. Ooh, now Furaime bonks those rocks over, it's a guarantee to have a fairy inside, and yeah, they managed to grab it. Fairies can be particularly elusive. It's just a personal anecdote, so I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I tend to find they much more scared of you and try to fly away when you're directly facing them, and if you look away, they tend to just kind of hover around instead, be more passive. But that's just my personal anecdote, so don't take it as gospel. So in Turtle Rock, because we've got a lot of pits here, we end up with some very strange enemy interactions. We see there that there's a Hokuboku stuck bouncing on a pit. We see that one of the there's also a fire snake just kind of meandering about, not doing anything.
That's a good opening to Turtle Rock, though, getting the Big Key first, and Furaime looking for which path is going to get him through this little pack enemies here. I don't know what that fire snake is doing.
Getting in the way mostly, but Furaime decides to use the invincibility frames from damaging that Stalfos head to get through without taking a hit. So the spiky roller room here is particularly unthreatening today. Oh, and there's a shovel in the back there. Nothing much we need to fetch right now. We've mostly got maximum equipment we can get for expert, which is the Master Sword, and yeah, just the Master Sword. Silver arrows they're not necessary for Ganon, but we have got the Master Sword for swordless, for sword spin strats. They are necessary because we'll never find a tempered sword. The silver arrows are still nice to find, but because this isn't swordless, we don't need the silver arrows as such, and they do only work on Ganon. So if we found a Vitria somewhere, the silver arrows would just be working like regular arrows on him, and you would need 3 arrows per hit to destroy each eyeball.
Right, and one of the little things that runners like to do when they know that the Vitreous is coming is to go to the upgrade shop and get another 5 arrows, because with the 9 small eyes and the 1 big eye, that's 35 shots. But in expert, there are no upgrades. the waterfall cave is just empty. In hard, they're double the price. They're 200. They're 200 apiece, but in expert, you're just out luck.
Does it still top up your arrow supply from like to maximum if you're empty in hard mode?
Yes, it does.
So Furaime is making these couple extra checks just in case of try next surprise. I'm probably going to go into Mimic Cave here too. Or nope, they are ignoring Mimic Cave. But it's still not a good idea to gamble on the big key chest anyway. If you don't find a small key on laser bridge, you have to backtrack quite significantly to that big chest and find the small key if necessary. Yeah, they've skipped that vanilla big key chest, they have skipped Mimic Cave, they are essentially treating themselves as in go mode right now. That big spike there is almost equivalent to the vanilla roller.
I mean, the odds are in his favor, if you think about it, because every boss gets rolled independently, so it's what, a 1 in... He's essentially got to dodge 3 1 in 10 chances. Oh, gosh. You
Yeah, that is the...
You get run over hard by the spike roller. And he's going to retreat and take the left path down here to the exit.
You immediately had to dip into a bottle to restore 1 whole heart of health. Spike rollers are mean. Spike roller directly in your path like that, which he cannot avoid at all, is sadistic.
No reason to not take the safety valve here.
I mean, it's essentially a free health refill if you want, even if you don't die checking out the items here.
What items?
I was almost expecting Furaime to just take the Defier to restore some health, but no time for that. We are going fast.
A good big key, and we can subdue this in Ganon's Tower. I mean, there's a slim chance, but it's there. And it's an Argus.
Yep. So 1 or 2 more chances for Trinex here. So some nice double hookshot into Master Sword spin to take out those Argai.
And 3 fire rod shots, and then a spin is going to take care of it. Another heart piece for his trouble, dungeon number 10, and across we go to the tower, and I think that means we have a little game to play.
Oh yes. So, if you are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels, or you have donated 250 bits across the channels, you can enter our Big Key guessing game. Enter a number between 1 and 22 in chat, and if you are correct, or the closest guesser to where the Big Key game is, you will win our game today and get a spot on our prestigious leaderboard. Furaime's going to be getting into Ganon's Tower pretty quickly, so get your guesses in chat.
Yep, game closes whenever he walks through the top of the stairs, and we start counting at that point.
I'm always going with my regular guess of 19 here. I love it being in the vanilla chest.
19 with vanilla with the long route? Yeah. I'll go. I like 9. I like that. I like that fire snake room. It doesn't get a lot of attention. So Furaime's gonna take the first small key, go right, think we got a boomerang in the other chest, but those are functionally useless.
No surprise early tower room check. A lot of mold orms in this room. Chest fee is 10 arrows. 4 is piece of hut. 6 is the compass.
And 5 must not have been the key because he's still well away, man. And we could have.
Unfortunately, my video cut out there for a second, so I didn't see what they picked up, but yeah, not the big key. Seven on the torch is a small key. The chat tells us that on the chest number 5 was big money. Oh, there's our other boomerang. Chest 8.
9 is going to be 20 rupees. We're going to kill whatever's in here for 10, and your small key, and our 4th bottle.
Gotta love those B-torps. Very few pieces of heart down here. Perhaps we may be able to get another heart container. There's many so fast, I cannot even see what how many pieces Furaime has got so far.
Well, the in-dungeon menu won't show you. I think you have to switch. Like, I think you have to switch to a different part of the menu, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Right.
This room's a lot less easy. This room's a lot easier without fire snakes in the way.
Red rupee, so we are
on we go.
To Randomizer room.
$14 to $17 if memory serves.
Yep, that's correct.
14 is going to be another piece of heart, and heart number 8. 10 arrows, 50 rupees, and 5 more rupees, so we continue on.
Oh boy, we could end up with a Trinex down here. I am holding out for that Trinex. So as we see in this room, Bob is dead and undead. He's actually a Stalfos.
And we have a winner. It is 18. Bob the Stalfos was holding the chest.
So it looks like our winner today is Zelda 1. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations on her 6th win in the guessing game. Tied for 2nd with RD Walsh V and Titus 242X. Behind Lapping the Field Kinghorn. So because this is Randomizer, these are not red mimics anymore. So these are just Gibdos today. So we can, well, not make quick work of them because they're Gibdos. They have a lot of health, but We don't have to worry about shooting him.
Ooh, that's an invisible Beamo statue underneath the platform there. And some mimics.
Honestly, this is all stuff that would have killed most of us already.
Yeah, I've never run an Randomizer seed myself, but I'm pretty sure if I was to run this, I would probably be stuck in that same Death Mountain cave where DT ended up. We're gonna get some golden bee strats in here. Can you actually catch the golden bee again with Bugnet in Expert?
Can you recatch the bees? That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to look that up. Boy, he's sending the whole brigade out.
Yeah, normally when you unleash a bee in the normal game, you can catch it again with the bee net. It's particularly useful with the... Oh, you can catch them again. Okay. Oh, there we go. Furaime teaching us right now.
That's beautiful. Release him again! To room 5, boys!
Nicolas Cage is probably screaming right now.
Now we know the real reason Furaime picked Expert.
We've lost the bees, they've served their purpose, and we have a seed without Trinexus today. The gamble that Furaime has done, treating themselves like they're in go mode, has paid off. There could still be an ice almost down in, well, ice Trinex down in the basement of Ganon's Tower, but we're just going to leave it stewing alone today. It can rot.
I mean, I don't know if it could rot. I mean, it's going to be on ice. It's going to be pretty well preserved down there.
It looks like that bomb guard decides to blow itself up with its own bombs.
I was about to ask how that happened because I didn't think the arrow got through. Oh, look at this set of
This
cards.
floor is aggressive.
Just bombos them all. Come on. Fry them up.
So we had the Zors busting out of the ground early outside of the pyramid, and now we've got guards busting out of the tiles in Ganon's Tower. Oh, more guards here, because why not? This room will has guards in vanilla. Now that guard was busting out of the ground there. What would happen if the floor was to move under them when they were still buried? Would they fall down, or would they just start emerging out of thin air? Like, sort of coming from a parallel dimension or somewhere, just so to act like they're emerging from a hole in the ground.
I mean, they probably would be emerging from a hole in the ground and then get stuck. Nothing to worry about here on the first room of the 6th floor. A couple of cannon guards here, but Furaime has both keys. No need to mess with those guys. No spikes here, so just a couple more guards to dodge.
But the ball and chain troop is still nasty. And then the unusually seen red armor. And as Chad points out, we also have something that you don't see in the vanilla game at all. Guards with cannons. I believe they exist in the game data for Link to the Past, but they were never implemented anywhere, but they are a completely valid enemy, so they can pop up in Randomizer. Now we have got a Helmethor King at the top here. His sprite still bugs out a bit here. You can see his legs are poking out of a wall there because they went off screen. But Furaime is going for the strategy that many other runners choose to go for, which is to throw bombs at the Helmasaur, because you don't have a lot of room to work with here, and if he decides to walk forward whilst you're hitting his mask with a hammer like you would usually do, he can knock you off. Shooting him from the side of ours is pretty tricky too, but Furaime's accuracy is on point. I must say it was much later in my life, well after I'd finished running Link to the Past on SNES, that I had found out that you could actually beat the Helmasaur King with the hammer. When I was a kid, I would always beat it with the bombs. I didn't know of any other strategy to beat it, so bombs it was.
A question in chat about the swords. No, expert and even insane both require master because Ganon will take damage. Ganon will not take damage to anything less. So, yep, master swords all the way.
Looks like these Aghanim's have a couple of arrows stuck in their feet.
I think everything for the last couple of floors has. Furaime down to 2 hearts now. Nice evasive maneuvers there. Looks, I think he's on 4 or 5 hits. 6. Now he's on 6 hits. He's out of the fight. And job not done yet. We still have to go up at 1.
So Ganon gets particularly weird when he's flying over to the pyramid. It's Randomizer, everything gets particularly weird here. And is Furaime going to dive right in, or are they going to get a top-up? Yeah, they're going to get a top-up of health.
Well, they still got they've still got a dungeon to beat, yeah.
Yeah, it's all dungeons, we've got to go beat Aga 1.
Which does serve as a top-up, because you get a refill, you get a refill of everything when you beat Aghanim once. Pretty tame tower so far, but it's still early.
You can jump in all dungeons. You can jump down to Ganon before you beat all the dungeons, but he mostly just calls you an idiot and says, "You can't beat me." And he gets into the last phase, and you can't beat him. He stops taking damage. He won't even tell you where the silvers are because he just dislikes you that much.
So at the 2-hour mark, we can go ahead and summarize today's summarize the scene and show and tell everybody why DT is stuck on a save screen and has been for the past about 90 minutes. Pretty much, DT ended up getting trapped in the room where you have to save the old man to get to the Death Mountain save point. And the problem is, once you collect the old man, you have to take him to his cave. Otherwise, if you die before that, the game is going to put you back at the old man with him in tow. And essentially, DT got caught in that loop by a Lionel that he couldn't get past. And that essentially spelled the end of the seed for DT. He has forfeited, and Furaime is just half a dungeon and a Ganon fight away from locking up game number 1 of this series. And chat bringing up that you couldn't hear either of us at approximately the same time. So the old man cave killed the DT and the commentary.
All of Discord even. What is going on with this Hynex? He's throwing bombs off the platform, and the bombs are doing that same kind of like sound and animation that the guards would normally do when they fall off a platform. Oh well, we won't worry about that. We've got an Aga 1 to kill. Ooh, nice use of the hookshot there to get around the platform a bit quicker.
That's a very interesting use of spin speed. Or hook speed, I think, in that case.
Alright, Aga, you fired one blue ball. So how many more blue balls are you going to give us? Aside from Aga 1's first cast when he starts the fight or after a lightning spell, he has a 50-50 chance of casting blue balls. So the absolute maximum of blue balls you can have in the fight is 15, but we're not going to get that today. It's actually playing pretty kindly compared to the rest of what we've had in Randomizer so far.
I think that's 3 so far. This is not being a friendly fight to him. But he's out. That's dungeon number 12. We're gonna get a top off the hearts here and head for the Ganon fight. 5 arrows, but I don't think he's particularly worried about that. He's probably going to be more worried about the torch glitch.
Ganon with the nutrition facts there again. If you only used a couple of arrows in Agatar, arrows in Agatar, but they were able to get an arrow drop to refill their supply. Because this is expert, we are stuck with a Master Sword, we cannot upgrade our sword at all, so spin strats are 100% necessary against Ganon here. But we do have just enough silver arrows plus 1 extra to take care of Ganon handily in the last phase.
Yep, just a matter of being patient here. Here in phase 2, going to use that hook shot for the iframes. Get a nice little spot here, maybe get a couple of shots. But as long as he keeps his composure and stays away from all the flying flamey thingies, he should be fine. Oh, this is a perfect location here.
Ooh, missed that last hook shot. That was close.
Holy cow!
One Ganon hug or one firebat hit could pretty much take out Furaime right now. We are stuck in green mail. So we are past the most difficult phase. So Ganon is deciding I'm just going to teleport everywhere instead because why not?
Ganon apparently doesn't want to see that in either. One, 2, and then around for the torch glitch. Spin here.
Ooh.
We're gonna put 2 more. No, not quite. Well, we're gonna put the last one here to the side. Boy, that was fast. What a great fight.
Very quick phase 4. GG to Furaime. They finish this rather awful seed with an official SRO time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 29 seconds.
He's the 4 seed. This is his settings. This is what he was supposed to do, and boy, did he do it in style.
So we'll see if Furaime wants to come in for an interview in chat. DT has been hanging out in Twitch chat for now, talking about this unfortunate encounter with the old man for quite a long time now. So say hi to him if you haven't already. For now, we also get to check out the Randomizer credits, which are particularly messed up because, you know, it's Randomizer. Everything's got to be messed up here.
So DT telling us he's stated his piece in chat. He's happy. I mean, he's not happy with the result, but you know, that's it's tough stuff, and it got the better of him. And we'll come back for game 2 and try it again.
I very much doubt that DT's going to go for the gutsy play like Solsky and pick the exact same settings for the next game. The scary thing about the Lumberjacks here, their heads suddenly turn back into the Lumberjacks, but their lower half still stay messed up. It's kind of a horror show we've got going here.
Gibdo heads and Wallmaster hands praying to Lord knows what.
It looks like Furaime is going to pass up on the interview today, but they are in chat first, so...
The logic wasn't actually that much of a problem this seed, really. Everything was just kind of as you got to it. Not really. Maybe the logical double dipper pod was annoying, but
I think like the absolute worst thing was that if he decides to go sequence break up Death Mountain, it was very easy to get yourself stuck there, as DT unfortunately suffered through. Furaime had a bit of an easier time there because when it came to that point, they not only had the cape, like DT did, but they also had a full magic bar, so they were just able to squeeze past all the Lionels and Brussels sprouts up there and get the old man to the cave to get that save point and not stay stuck in a cave.
It really was bad luck that the Cabbages got DT the first time when he got out, but. So, with no interview subjects, we would like to obviously thank Furaime and DT for putting on a great show for us, despite the old man cave getting better. DT, it was a great race regardless. Tomorrow, our fall 2018 randomizer tournament, the fun continues with at 6:30 Eastern Time on Speed Gaming 3, an inverted expert seed between Andy and Wayne. On Speed Gaming 4, the number 1 overall seed Kyong92 in an expert Key Sandy All Dungeons is going to take on Rywek. That match is at 8:30. The action continues in this series on Friday at 12:20 Eastern Time with an All Dungeons standard Uncle Assured hard Enemizer. That'll be the second race of this series in the name of DT versus Furaime. And we're going to post a schedule link in chat so you guys can keep up with all of the action here in the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament.
So yeah, I think that pretty much covers what we thought this said, and unfortunately we did have Discord issues for about 40 minutes there, so if you want to rewatch the VOD, we are going to be silent for about 40 minutes or so, around about the time I think DT had all their problems in the Death Mountain cave, which pretty much had me talking about, oh no, he's taking a death, and nobody hearing because Discord. But yeah, this was a fun seed to watch at any rate, and I am not quite sure when and Furaime and DT are playing their next game. I haven't got the schedule up right now, but the next one should be also good to see. And I imagine DT, to try and get that advantage, is probably not going to go for expert Randomizer. It's kind of a Furaime's niche right now.
Well, he's doing hard Randomizer, so I mean, he wants the challenge.
Okay.
It's on the schedule for 12:20 Eastern on Friday, the 28th. So yeah, absolutely. We'd like to thank Haha Cell for also dealing with all the crazy Discord trouble and still being able to track this race. And obviously, my partner Revolving Ocelot. It's been a fun time, and hope to do it again soon.
Yep, and thank you for joining us tonight, Twitz, and I wish all of you and our runners and you, Sports FA, a good night.
Salute, everybody.